Doing it live, as usual. Shut that dog up. Anyway, welcome to another episode of Super Desperation Radio. I'm a little on the spot here because I was expecting to time that pre-show a little better than this, but hey, at least we started at 6:30 p.m. for once, so...
I mean, we've been starting at 6:30 p.m. for quite some time. I mean, there are those days where we start at like 6:31 p.m., 6:34 p.m., 6:28 p.m., but hey, we average 6:30.
Yeah, just round down, right? That's what I say.
No, not round down. We just average.
We're normally within 10-minute buffer window, I'd say.
Yeah, we're not like other IPW shows that, start at certain hours but actually might start an hour later.
Or other shows in general that get canceled every other week.
Ooh. Although, to be honest, to be fair, they have fun. I know you hate hearing that, but they did finally say that they were going to do a bi-weekly schedule with that particular show.
Huh, I had no idea.
Yeah,
well, good for them.
Yeah, good for Derry and everybody that works at the Fray, i.e. Seg.
They've been, I think, pre-Evo or post-Evo. They've been. The show, I think they did one show before Evo, and up until now they've been on a solid bi-weekly schedule.
Yeah.
Or it was all after Evo. I can't remember. But
I was actually talking about Ultra Chen, but the Fray works too.
Oh, well, I heard Derry, so I just assumed.
We can't comment on the Ultra Chen because they aren't on our network. They're the competition. So fuck those guys.
I mean, we can, but it's more like I like the in-house rivalry.
Yeah, we already know we dumpster Ultra Chin.
Damn.
Now I wouldn't say that.
We talked about it.
I just imagine Walkman with like the Groucho glasses on when he did that, like twirling a cigar in his fingers.
No, I'm just looking at a receipt and wondering why did I buy this terrible food.
Your call.
You gotta start.
I made a mistake.
You gotta start listening to your gut.
I mean, I thought it was going to be good, but then when I bought it, it wasn't. So, there's that.
We all make mistakes.
Yep. Sometimes I go to Jack in the Box too.
It wasn't even like that.
Call that a mistake.
I went to a Japanese food restaurant, paid pretty decent bucks, and then the tempura used cement for its batter, and then the inside was filled with stuff like used to be food. It was horrible.
That's some good eating.
No, I don't think it is, actually. I think it's some horrible eating.
The only thing that had a batter that was worse than that I've ever had was when I went to the Newark Days Parade. Got not a corn dog, it was just a deep fried dog in this weird, just regular deep fried batter. And it was almost the way the batter went, it turned into a hot dog bun, and it was the most disgusting, oil-filled, horrible thing I've ever had. I took one bite, and I think I threw up.
You gotta put hot sauce on it.
Man, I don't know if that would have even helped.
I've learned throughout the years that a little bit of hot sauce can make terrible food taste somewhat, edible.
Yeah.
It's hilariously how it works.
I've had some really bad tuna before, really bad. It was disgusting, and I just put some hot sauce in it, and everything was fine.
Man, you're a brave man. Hot sauce on tuna just seems like it's asking for trouble afterwards.
It was fine.
Yeah. Have a little bit.
So, what did everybody do over the weekend?
I went to a local tournament for the first time in a year.
I wanted to go to that same local tournament, but I couldn't because I had to do things at home.
Now, would that be said local tournament where Hanzo Gonzo dumpstered all of NorCal in under night?
Technically, he didn't dumpster me because I didn't meet in the brackets.
I wouldn't say that. No, he did really well. He took first place.
Yeah, he did.
We're talking about Cali Burst, of course, which took place at Myung Center on Saturday. It was, I believe, Hanzo Gonzo versus Sam Joe, local player, Hilda player. I heard he straighted them or something. Sam was taking it really hard. I thought he got 6-0'd.
He ended up winning it overall 6-1. So the first set, I believe Hanzo Gonzo won 3-0, and the second set he lost the first match and won the next 3.
Okay. Yeah, man. Well, I mean, Sam's the kind of guy who, when he loses, he's like, I'm fucking trash. And when he wins, he looks at you and says, "What the fuck's wrong with you?" So.
Oh, he's got a good self-esteem thing going on.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. Like he's really good, but he's like, "Oh, why am I so bad?"
He's got the internalized Isaiah outlook on life,
Yeah,
where
exactly.
he's like, "This game sucks," but he's just like, "I suck."
Exactly. Like, yeah, he will not put his self-esteem issues on you. He will just beat the shit out of himself right in front of you, and you feel horrible for the guy because you're like, "Oh man, like this dude's gonna go outside and like step in front of traffic," you know?
This dude just kneels down and is like, "Forgive me, Father, I've sinned." Just whips himself with like his USB like from his stick.
That's his freaking his pad.
This all sounds really weird.
Well, if you ever hang out with the guy, you'll totally get it. He's a good guy though. I love that dude. But good shit to him for getting second place. I went 4-2, so that's not bad for my first offline tournament in UNL.
How many people showed up?
Like
I think we
48?
had like 50 or something.
Like
Yeah.
Around
So
50.
you got top 8?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, I didn't even get out of my pool. Shit.
Oh, they did pools?
Yeah.
Oh shit, I don't know.
We had
Why
like
wouldn't you just do a big bracket in a situation like that?
I don't know what they did. Like, to be honest, like they should have done that because every pool was assigned to a station, and about an hour into it, all the other pools were just using other people's stations later on. So I was just like, fuck it. Why not just make it one big, bracket? But it worked out in the end anyway. And they had a couple other tournaments going on there. Most notably, of course, was the CVS2 tournament, which I got top 8 in.
That's horrible.
That's right.
No, here's the issue.
Now
You're telling
that's a dead game.
You're telling everyone you got 6th place like a dumbass, man. You got.
I'm
5th
trying to be
place.
courteous to the person that tied with me, because I'm sure at least he probably has a hard time believing that he tied with the guy that played King Terry Rio.
I was laughing at how your king was actually working.
Yeah.
Like, did either of you guys watch this?
No.
Holy crap. His king, he was using buttons to beat people, just like pokes and shit.
Yep.
And it was working. King, pokes,
Standing
CBS2,
roundhouse is the fucking shit.
Hell Pocket somehow made this work.
I've been playing
It's
that character for like how long has this game been out? Like since I graduated from high school.
I have only one possible explanation, which was everyone else in NorCal who played CVS2 suddenly died the day before the tournament.
No, I think I know what happened. The real players, the real CVS2 players like Lizzie, John Choi, and Ricky, and so on, they were all having a gathering at John Choi's place, laughing while watching the stream. They're like, "Oh, look at these peasants play the game. Oh, they're so terrible."
And then this king came on, and they were just like, "Ugh, turn it off."
I mean, I would have.
And then they played Sandstorm and just started drinking. It was great.
Yep. Tell Eric Lee that he can retire now. Tell Easy he can retire. I can take on the legend of NorCal CVS2 now.
Wow.
As the only NorCal guy to place top 8.
You know what?
The king.
You're gonna end up with a money match. You're gonna end up having to money match somebody again.
I don't have to money match anybody. My record speaks for itself.
CVS2.
What?
Me and you, CVS2.
I don't have to play you in CVS2. My record speaks for itself, and that's where it's going to stay. I retire on top. You will never catch me again playing CVS2.
I mean, that's 5th place. That's not even in the money.
Well, it was a free tournament, so it doesn't really matter.
Well, that doesn't count then.
Why doesn't it count?
Because why would anybody go?
Does any Japanese tournament count then? In that case, no ranking in Japan ever counted, ever.
I'm fine with that.
That's cold-blooded, man. Those guys work really hard.
Right, and then they come to the U.S. and prove it by winning our tournaments.
Okay, so Chris, all you have to do now
is get 5th place in a real tournament.
5th in a real tournament.
It could even be a $1 tournament.
Yeah.
All right. You go. I'm interested in that.
So, would you be willing to do that? Play in another tournament?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I have to consult my daughter.
Okay. So
she's his manager now.
Yes. Let us know when Heck Pockets gets back to you. Okay. And then we'll discuss this from there.
No.
So, while Hanzo Gonzo was winning a tournament on the West Coast, there was an East Coast tournament as well. Resistance, run by New Challengers, and Lord Knight won that using Yuzu. And Flux, of all people, took 2nd place with Batista. And I've been hearing that Flux was looking to get into Air Dashers for a while, that he had been wanting to play Guilty Gear, but he felt like it was way too past him already, so he was waiting for the new one. But it's good to see, like we've been talking about, a lot of other people come into Unio. So, thought that was interesting to see.
I gotta say, Flux was due for some kind of victory. He was having a rough week.
I didn't watch that. Didn't watch that match between him and Insane. I heard
it was pretty bad.
It was a beatdown.
What do they call it? Bus ass?
It was ugly.
What Jim Ross I think would call it a slobber knocker. I think he would have said Flux got broken in half.
I think he would have said that Flux was getting beat like a government mule.
One-legged man at an ass-kicking contest?
Mm-hmm. Not even as effective.
Damn. So.
But good shit for him.
Yeah.
You can, of course, watch that on, whose channel is that on? Spookies? Or Arturo's?
No.
Actually,
it was Bum, I believe, House of Chaos.
Yeah, it was Bum. And I think,
okay.
I know Yice was commentating. I forgot who was commentating with him.
I think it was.
Yeah,
him.
it was
you're talking about the Marvel thing. Okay, yeah. That was at Bum's house, and yeah.
And then, of course, the Brett ran another online tournament yesterday in Unio, his second 3v3, and that was won by Sonic Fox's team, I think.
Really?
Yeah. If I'm remembering correctly.
Was that the guy that was looking for a teammate at the last minute?
Yeah, it was him. I can't actually remember his Gordo player's name, like Gabriel something, like GBRL something. I can't remember.
That sounds familiar.
But that was interesting to watch. I caught some of top 8, I think, because I heard Demonic's team made top 8. So I wanted to see how Sanchez's son was doing.
Yeah, that guy is very disappointed in us for not beating Hanzo.
Well, I mean, you're pretty bad, so.
Hey, I've beaten Hanzo, and other people have beaten Hanzo, but yesterday Hanzo was just like, hey, I am not even going to try to give you an opening, so.
I mean, I just want to bring this up, Chris. He beat living crap out of you. Like, he beat you so bad that you only won one match on him.
Yep.
And don't do this shit that other people do.
I destroyed him.
Where you hang on to that one win. Because you don't want to be like that.
I destroyed him in that one match. I know your brothers
in NorCal like doing that shit, but please don't.
It wasn't that bad. The one matches that that were over quick, I was just like, fuck it. But then the matches that we were pretty close on, were pretty frequent. So I'm not feeling too bad about that.
You were doing better and better as time went on, but it's
just that matchup, man. Like Gordo was like, I don't want to talk too much about mechanics yet, but why the fuck does Grim Reaper have like a reverse hitbox? Like, I know the fucking scythe goes everywhere around him, but was it really necessary to give him one like behind him? So in the off chance that I time to jump correctly and I clear it, I'd still get hit.
Here's the thing you need to remember. So he's swinging his scythe around, right?
Yeah.
The sharp part is what hurts you. So it goes in front of him and behind him. So of course it's gonna hit behind him too.
That's BS.
It's logic.
I know it's logic. It's literally like the most literal fucking DP in the history of fighting games.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, why this game? I'm going to go back in time, and I'm going to look at all the iterations of Gordo where he was shit and wonder what were they missing?
See, the Hound understands. The hitbox behind him is to make it accurate to the move. Why can't you understand this?
No, I understand it.
Why can't you accept this?
I think he's just sad. I think he's just catching feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. That's not even the biggest problem with that character, so people should stop tripping.
That character's damn good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everybody should play him.
He might be top tier. It might be that he's one of the best characters in the game.
By a wide margin.
Well, then maybe you should play him.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody should play him just so they can know, hey, there's probably a hole somewhere here that you can abuse.
Everybody is playing him except you, apparently.
No, I play him. It's just I don't care to use him in tournament.
Moving on. Chris admits he's bad. Anyway.
Oh, I'll dumpster you in this game. Get over here.
I doubt it.
I'll kill you. fucking
I'm
bulldog.
not playing on your shitty connection.
My connection is awesome. But anyway, moving on.
But, so, that was the rundown of tournaments over the weekend. What else we got going on?
We have... I mean, if it's an announcement, I guess, like SNK just put up some flyer saying they're making a new KOF game, but it's also hiring 3D modelers or other designers and whatnot, so that's cool.
Same old song.
Yeah.
As always.
I'm pretty sure they released a similar flyer last year, didn't they?
Yeah, about like a year, like almost a year ago.
Yeah.
If not a year ago, like exactly. I don't know exact dates, but yeah, I'm getting deja vu over here.
I do enjoy that they will mention a new game and then ask you if you want to work for them. That seems kind of nice. But it does get a little repetitive when,
nothing happens?
Nothing happens at all, right?
Hey. They release a constant stream of patchy slots, right?
But these are being hired for not patchy slot team. So what then? Explain. Are they just throwing people into a meat grinder somewhere?
Maybe they didn't get any applicants, so they have to try it again and act like the first one.
That can't be right, because they said they've been expanding like 30% every year. So some people are coming to work for them, but I don't know what they're doing.
They should just outsource to a company at this point, I feel.
Well, they also made an announcement for I think KOF 96, Metal Slug 2, and something else like HD remakes of some sort. Supposedly.
Now that's cool.
Yeah, and they're supposed to be for mobile devices apparently.
Ah!
Yep.
I hate the mobile controls. Have you ever tried playing anything on mobile? That touchscreen is the worst. The absolute worst. Doesn't matter what device you have, the touchscreen's always bad.
That's why they're usually, most mobile games are stupid little, touch this, and you win.
Spreadsheet with JPEG. Spreadsheet with JPEG.
But guys, we should always invest in the mobile market because people like Michael Proctor say that normal console games are dying and the mobile market is all that will be left in 10 years.
I mean, because people love just pressing stuff and winning, so I guess.
Also, that guy's a dumbass.
Thank you.
Yeah. I also feel the quality of console games has diminished greatly. And while people, the funniest thing is how people are like, oh man, Nintendo should just go third party because they have good games, but I want to play them. Why should I have to pay $300 to play it on a Nintendo system when I just want to play it on Xbox? It's like, why'd you pay $500 for an Xbox when you could have paid $300 for a Nintendo console to play the games you wanted to play? I hate people's logic.
People have also been saying that Nintendo should be third party since I think the N64.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I don't think that their logic has paid off yet.
Rumor. Smash Brothers is going to be on PC, guys. I heard it here. No.
Did you get that one from NeoGaf?
I got that one from MioGaf.
Oh.
Actually, I think
that the forum where you are the only one on it? You just have different accounts?
It's just only me, and I realize how much of a dumbass I am, but I can't stop myself.
It's still a constant flame war.
You just keep talking. You have no control over what you're actually saying.
I've become both sides. Yeah, that's BS though. I mean, with SNK in a situation like this, where I guess they don't have to release a game, but I guess they would like to because they brought back their original, or not original, but the previous boss, if you will. They brought him back to the fold after he stepped down originally. And again, they doubled down on their commitment to building up the games division again. So, I mean, maybe they should build up their PR division.
Speaking of building up games, Breath of Fire 6.
Please, why? What?
Wait, wasn't that mobile game that they announced a year or two ago?
Yeah. Why is it a numbered sequel? Why is this the 6th one? Why is it mobile? What are they thinking? It's almost like they're like, we need to invest in mobile because mobile's where the money's at. Oh no, mobile's doing awful. Well, we can't back out now. Just keep doing it.
Exactly. We'll double down on this decision and make it part of the mainline, franchise.
It's like they were drilling for oil, and they got vomit, and then the oil rig broke. So now they're trying to fix the vomit oil rig to help give it some
shovel the shit. You know what's crazy about the Breath of Fire 6 game? That game would be perfect as a free MMO.
I mean, I guess. I mean, there's definitely things they could do, but Why would you make it a numbered sequel? Make it something else.
Hey, it works for Final Fantasy.
And then, like, the whole thing where the main character's always Ryu and he always has the blue hair, like, and this one's like, make your own main character. And it's like, didn't you just, like, destroy your entire franchise, like, already? Like,
Well, you doing 5? Dragon Quarter?
Well, 5 I think was fine, but, like...
No, it wasn't.
I don't know. I never
the thing with 5, it gets a bad rep, but it gets mixed reviews. They did nothing with the series after that game. That's what pretty much led to its demise. They had the Game Boy Advance releases, but
Capcom basically said, we don't even believe in it now. You know?
Capcom gave it the Mega Man treatment.
Yeah.
It's almost like what Square did, right? Where how they're like,
you mean what they
we
continue
gotta
to do?
appeal to the Western market, get IDOS. We're gonna make Tomb Raider and like all these other games.
Hey, to their credit, that is a brilliant decision because Tomb Raider has never looked better.
But then we had the way they took the direction with their other established franchises, like let's make Final Fantasy all crazy cinematic and blah blah, and then Bravely Default comes out and they're like, oh wait, you guys actually like this? Oops, You mean you like the core gameplay of how our game's been for years because that's how you enjoyed them and not some other, arbitrary, let's just generalize the Western market and say that they only want shooting and, other things. Oops.
Well, you can't blame them for thinking that. For like
that one game that Square immediately canceled after they showed it like once. I think it was called like Gun Crazy or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
It sort of reminded me of Time Splitters, and I was like, oh, this looks goofy. That could actually be cool. And then they immediately canceled it, and I was like, what?
It's like, maybe my ideas of what games should be, or at least the game market should look like, is, obviously biased to the way I feel as a core gamer, and not just a casual mobile, I play Call of Duty almost exclusively because me and the bros like to get some brews after. I don't know. It's just like...
Why are you talking about my life story? that's not fucking cool, man. Like, let me at least tell my own story, thank you.
I'm just saying, like... it can everything to be super biased as a core gamer, but it's just like... I don't know. I wish... Like, the other day I told my friends, I wish I didn't care about video games at all, because then I wouldn't have to be disappointed or have opinions on video games. But here I am... Just, sitting there with my fingers interlaced, my hand on it, and just a cup of coffee black, just sitting next to me and just thinking about what has the world
went wrong.
Yeah,
I feel like here's the problem. I don't mind mobile games, and although I wish mobile ports were a little bit stronger in general.
Yeah.
But it's like companies like Capcom and Square Enix in Japan have just sort of, in a lot of cases, except for like the highest tier titles they ever do, say like Final Fantasy, I don't even know what Capcom has that breaks out of this now. They're just like, well, we're gonna just put money into mobile and hope for the best, and everything else.
I mean, it's a safe bet though.
It doesn't exist anymore.
It was a safe bet at the time where they were just like, we'll just release everything that we already released on handheld on mobile. And we'll profit, and I guess at the time you couldn't tell them they were wrong, because mobile was killing it. And then when it started dying out, they didn't pull out. Like, they pulled out of everything else in their lives, The one thing they decided to double down on was the sinking ship.
Yeah. Another thing that's really terrible with mobile is the install price. Sure, there's tons of free games and whatnot, but a mobile device is roughly around $650.
Yeah,
I understand that it can do a whole bunch of different things, and it's a pretty useful tool to have. But as someone who wants to get it solely for gaming, or how kids are like, oh, I want an iPad, I wanted this or that, for Christmas. Or before people were like, I want a Nintendo Entertainment System. It's just I feel like the way the market is and how everything is with its marginal updates, it's just it's oh yeah, the games are free, it's cool, or it's 99 cents, everything's so cheap. It's like you paid $700 to a device that's going to be obsolete in a month.
Yeah,
for a game that sucks.
Yeah. And that's an interesting point that I hadn't really thought of until you started making that observation, is that at least when you got something like a Game Boy, back when it first came out for the kids, you knew that the Game Boy was going to be around for a number of years.
Yeah.
The new iPad will probably come out in 2 years tops, and then the old iPad's pretty much obsolete. Well, then your kid's going to want the new iPad, because why wouldn't they want the new one?
Yeah.
The kid wanted the new Game Boy when that came out. Luckily for you, it was like 6 years later, and it was under $200.
Yeah.
So, and it still played the games.
Yeah, I mean, even if you like upgraded to eventually be like, no, you're not getting the Game Boy Color, but Advance came out, and you're like, all right, well, I'll get you the Advance. He can still play all of his old games. Yeah. And, you know, the issue is also, you know, obviously, I mean, even with certain color games, you can still play them on the original Game Boy, you know? It allowed for that.
Yeah.
But pretty much it's like, oh, get the new cutting-edge iPad, but then here's the iPad G that just came out. And this one has this one piece of hardware that the old ones didn't have, even though it's only marginally better. But if you want to play this new cutting edge game, you really need this. So it's like, well, shit. I just dropped fucking bank on this shit, and now if I even wanted to have full functionality of anything, I have to get this new marginal piece of hardware. Where in the, you know, obviously in the realm of like computer gaming, it's like, oh, well, at least I can just upgrade this or do something like that. Or on console gaming, where it's going to be the standard until the new console comes out, and then you can at least guarantee yourself a couple of years. But it's like, I hate the way mobile is. And then everything is just so fragile. Like, it's just having a Fabergé egg in your pocket. Like, like what are you doing?
Yeah, why are you giving your 5-year-old an iPad?
That too. Like, I understand that's what the kids want, but he'd be like, well, okay, you know, I know how much you love to check the stock market all the time. And
yeah, you know what? I wanted a Neo Geo, and that cost about as much as an iPad. My parents didn't give me that shit.
Yeah.
We got a lot more mileage out of that shit in the long run.
Yeah, because I could have kept it, and then today I could have sold that shit for a lot of money.
Yeah, it's not like, I got this really old iPad.
Crazy.
This versus, iPad I bought for $600.
Now all of that versus what they do to you when you want to like upgrade, where they're like, okay, now give us your old device, and it's like, no, I already paid money for that. It's like, yeah, but we're not going to let you keep it if you're trading it. You know, it's like, what?
Well, it's like an old iPad goes for, you know, it's like old technology now, like PCs and phones and stuff like that. Well, they're like, we'll give you $50.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
It's basically useless. And then
I would rather keep my old cell phone than give it to you for $50.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the other people who are dumb enough to actually go through with it because, hey, it's $50.
Well, they don't give you much of another choice. The only other choice you have is like going to one of those buyer sites that say, we'll buy it for more than the store will by $1.
You're probably better off junking it for scrap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if smartphones were like, you know, salvageable for parts, like RAM and shit. Oh, man.
They are.
They are?
But, well,
I don't know how to do it.
You can remove everything off the board. It's not like normal people are going to be doing it like that. But, you know, there's places that, obviously, why do you think they'd be like, we'll recycle it for you and pay you to do it? And it's like, well, because they can salvage a lot of that stuff and sell them back to other things or recycle to...
You're still getting ripped off, basically.
But that's why, like, have you heard of the idea that someone had to have a modular cell phone where you can actually put in the pieces you want?
See, that's like cool.
Yeah. I think that would be great. And with a thing like, you know, Android or Droid itself, that's like an open source firmware that you can pretty much put on anything that allows it to have. So, you know, there's definitely a lot of room for not costing an arm and a leg, but why wouldn't these companies do it? They probably have some sort of trusts, and they're just like, hey, don't charge, you know, too little. We're going to keep charging, you know, out the ass for this shit that we make people think that they want. And it's like, I understand.
Well, of course we want it. Well, of course we want it, because we want to play KOF 96 HDR.
It's like, oh, man, I really do want a smartphone because it can get me information where I need it, or in case of an emergency, I can pull up numbers, I can do all these things. But am I really going to charge myself another fucking $40 a month for like a 2 gigabyte plan that if I go one step over, I'm going to get charged like triple the amount? It's fucking ludicrous what these people are asking out there. Like, you know, I'm not like a fucking, you know, Neanderthal when it comes to like technology. I'm pretty up to date about these things. It does interest me, but just the astronomical everything for trying to do this shit, it's like, no, this is stupid. Even Ethernet, it's like, oh, check it out, for $100 a month you can get this good, you know, service. It's like, I know it doesn't fucking cost that much, and then you bandwidth cap me, like, It's just greed. I hate it.
But
nothing disappoints me more than just corporations these days. Am I old now?
All right, Ranty McRants-a-lot. I'm reining you in.
I'm sorry.
We can't get too far off of that.
But I mean, basically, the whole point of this is that mobile gaming is neat. It's fun. It should never try to replace console gaming, even handheld consoles, because it can't do it justice. Even with all the improvements they've done and the ideas they've had, it mostly sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from a few games that were created specifically for mobile games, stuff like Plants vs. Zombies, which is actually pretty fun.
Oh man, when they want to, dude, they'll put their fucking foot into these mobile games, but when they port stuff that just very obviously should never be on any other platform than what it was originally intended for, it just sells like a lead balloon, and it plays just about as effectively.
Yep.
That's about it.
So it'll be interesting to see if we actually, tying this into what we were actually talking about, if we actually see something come out of SNK Playmore, a new KOF, which is all people really want, it seems.
Yeah.
Well, okay, that's not true. A bunch of you want something like Last Blade 3, or that's never going to happen.
Well, that's the problem when you talk to SNK fans. Is like, why are you an SNK fan? And it's like 80 different reasons, you know?
Yeah.
The real reason is because I hate myself.
I really want Magician Lord 2 HD remakes.
Hold on.
Wow.
Magician Lord 2 actually happened. They canceled it, all right? Don't bring up these bad memories.
Jesus Christ.
So I said HD remakes.
I wouldn't mind.
I
I wouldn't mind an Xbox Live Arcade version of Ultimate 11.
Nah.
I don't think that shit's happening.
I wouldn't mind Breakers 3. Come on.
That's not gonna happen. That's like how you answer
in the background.
That's like the official answer for anybody that wants anything from SNK is that's not going to happen, and then sobbing.
Might as well. I mean, look, I didn't play a lot of SNK growing up, so I don't have these feels that you guys do. So I'm more objective when I can just say, you need to stop beating yourself up. It ain't happening.
I got Stockholm Syndrome now, dude. SNK will provide. I believe in them.
They can't let me die. They need me.
Look, dude, I gave up the ghost on a console version of Super Turbo. You guys can give it up for SNK, okay? We accepted it. We've moved on.
Well,
We're
it'll
not
be a
happy
pleasant
about
surprise
it.
At least.
But
well, we got Uniel now, right? And Exard's coming down the pipeline, and you know, at least we can look forward to that again, right?
Yeah. I guess.
I like it. Yeah, guys, make me.
You didn't even
I'm
like
gonna
Halo
have to
13.
deal with it. I just need to get over it. It's just, do I really want to get over it? No, but I'm gonna have to.
As an adult, that spends money that he works for, I demand some sort of satisfaction, but at the same time, I know I don't deserve it because SNK doesn't owe me shit. They owe nobody nothing.
Companies are like, "Hey guys, new game, $60. This game sucks." Well, gee, aren't you fucking entitled? Like,
yeah, exactly.
This game did bad because it's your fault. It's like, no, if you made a good game, regardless of how it was, yourself. And of course, that's not the case. There's a lot of sleeper hits and things that get one printing and stuff like that. But I mean, good game. PR is definitely one of the biggest things you can do for a video game, whether even just be a mediocre or decent game. If you have plenty of press releases that actually advertise your game, you might go far. It wouldn't hurt to invest in that, even if your game is just like an 8 out of 10. People will eat it up as long as they know what the hell they're getting.
Just an 8 out of 10.
Yeah,
low on the score totem pole, aren't we talking there?
Well, I am an elitist, obviously.
Just a silver medal, huh?
But you know what I mean, like this could be hailed as like game of the year and still have flaws, but because you've advertised it well enough, the people will get it. And then from there you build up upon that. You take the flaws that you had and improve upon that. I don't know.
You know who's doing that? The person you described exactly was NetherRealm Studios.
Yeah, they've been pulling it in pretty good, yeah.
Honestly, Arc Systems has been doing a surprisingly solid job at trying to wake up the U.S. market for their games.
Yeah.
In recent months, and I've been pretty impressed because, boy, they didn't give a shit. It's been 10 years and they did not give a shit. And then all of a sudden they're like, "Hey guys, we're here."
Obviously, it's once they started using the Unreal Engine, they're like, "Wait a minute, America exists."
They might be important in the greater.
Well, back in the day, I guess I don't know who decided it or whatever, but Sony definitely played a big role in them not bringing out some of their games here. So
yeah. I really hate a lot of those Sony business practices. We're like, okay, you can release the game here, but you need complete and full English voice acting. And they're like, what? Like, yeah, sorry, dude, you got to do that.
This doesn't even have regular voice acting.
Yeah, like Dragon Quest VIII, there's no Japanese voice actors. But in America, there is.
That voice acting was so terrible.
Just saying.
Everybody is Steve Blum. Everybody.
And then a lot of I think they did a lot of weird stuff to SNK too. I don't remember exactly what, but they're like, you got to do this, and this, and if you don't meet this criteria, we're not going to let you release it. And it's like,
well, what did they do for KOF 11? They don't they had to do some stupid thing that they literally just stuck on at the last second because you couldn't even tell it unless they pointed it out for you.
Yeah, I don't know. They're just like, man, that sucks. Like not only that you make a game and you get it published. The company for the game that you try to release on the console, they're like, yeah, it's not good enough. You need to go back and just add some bells and whistles. That's what gets the people going. That's what revs the engine.
It's provocative.
Yeah. It's provocative, but they don't even know why it's provocative. That's what makes it great. It's like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
But in other news, since we're kind of just rolling around, most recent...
I'm directed.
You're directed in a way that's way off the left.
I want to know what Tony thinks.
He's off in left field, rambling about the old days and kids on his lawn, I think.
Well, maybe left field sounds like a ton of fun right now.
But I was going to say that Japan recently did the beta test for the new version of Chaos Code.
Oh, yeah.
I honestly didn't even know what was going on, but I started following Tenryo on Twitter, and obviously, as the community manager, he is in there. So
yeah,
it's interesting. I didn't like the first version of the game. I got to play it at round 1, but I know there's a really dedicated group of people who play in the U.S. And from what I've heard, the version that actually was put on PSN has no online play.
No, it doesn't.
Really?
That's fucking terrible.
Supposedly, they were working on an update that would include online. I don't know if that ever ended up coming out, and if it did, I don't know how good it is. Because I guess if it came out, then it can't be that good because nobody said shit.
Yeah, but there's a new patch, is it?
Yeah, 2 new characters.
It's called what is it? New Sign of Chaos version 2.0. There's 2 new characters. New Sign of Catastrophe, excuse me. And he compiled a paste bin with all the different changes that have been found out. And just little glitches in the system right now that need to be worked out. So, but I guess it was the first beta test.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Is there any idea? Does it still play kind of like crazy combos, high damage, or did it do the Under Night thing where they decided let's play like a more guessing game where you have to guess accurately a couple of times rather than just hit the dude once?
No,
I don't know since I don't know enough about the game, to be honest.
I don't think they would change it to that. The reason why Chaos Code was doing so well was just simply because it was just there was so much ridiculous shit that actually wouldn't kill you after a certain amount of patches. So while it still was a high damage game, it was still kind of fair at the same time. You weren't completely fucked if you were on defense.
Yeah. Honestly, I've been a fan of FK Digital, but I have not tried Chaos Code. So, some fan I am.
I mean, it was fun. I liked it. The one complaint I have about Chaos Code was that I felt that their input system could have used some tweaking because there was definitely a lot of accidental jumping going on, and it was just like, all right, I get it. We should have better execution than that, but Jesus Christ, it's really strict, So that it almost felt like it was too geared towards ground to air to ground comboing, Or they were maybe holding your hand a little bit to it. And for a beginner who just wants to get ground combos down, they couldn't do shit,
Yeah.
It was
but this is really cool because obviously throughout the years we've had things like World Warrior, Championship, Hyper, Super, Turbo, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the changes were not too different until, like obviously like Super and things hit, where there's a lot of different things, a lot of different moves and stuff. But it's really cool seeing games like Skullgirls, Under Night, Yatagras, Chaos Code that are taking these like good changes. The game might just be like crazy at first, but they go back and analyze and see. They go, oh, okay. They release the game and it's might not be the best product, but that doesn't mean that it can't be a good product. And it's really nice to see developers going and showing their game love. And
what sucks is a lot of these games are going under the radar, basically, in America because, for whatever reason, just sites aren't paying as much attention to them, or they are harder to get because you have to have Japanese PSN at first.
Yeah.
Because, obviously, it's called Dark Awake on PSN, and I can't remember the original name.
Chaos Breaker.
Chaos Breaker was another game that people really wanted to play, and it finally got released on Japanese PSN, and it's like nobody even knows it's there.
That game's so good.
Chaos Breaker is really fun.
Yeah, that game looks cool. I want to play it. Just like I want to just hit people with the angry combo. Just play around it and go, ah, 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 ah.
Did you ever notice that in the release they changed how he looks?
Yeah, they changed the sprites and stuff. It's weird.
Just for him, where he went from kind of generic, medieval knight in armor to full-on Conan the Barbarian status.
Yeah, like Conan or like some Golden Axe looking
he just suddenly became like shirtless berserker, and I never understood why.
Yeah, that was weird. And the name of the game got changed, which is weird too.
Dark Awake or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that game's
I don't know why. But yeah,
edgier feel.
Maybe.
And then there's that blue guy with the sword, and all he does is just poke you until you mess up, and then he just destroys you.
Wait, which blue guy?
The one with the swords. The little short swords.
He's got 2 swords.
Oh, the troll or the night elf or whatever the hell.
Yeah. I think he's like a dark elf or something.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy's bullshit.
Yeah.
He's got that wall bounce infinite.
Yeah.
Such a good game.
Oh man.
But it's hard. So it's trying to get more things about especially. I know that some people in the Chaos Code community have been talking about whether this is going to get patched into the console version, and man, I feel like that's going to be pretty tough sell considering it's a digital only game.
Yeah, I don't think they ever even released a disc option for it, and it's produced or at least distributed by Arxis, but it's definitely been something where they were just kind of okay, we'll help you out with this because I guess that's just how they do things now, but they weren't really expecting to, I guess, support it much beyond that. I remember thinking I thought Chaos Code was never going to get even a sequel or anything like that, even though it was kind of had a little bit of popularity. So,
yeah, that's really good.
We'll see what happens with it. I mean, they may just add a patch to it and then it might take off from there. Who knows?
Especially with fighting game developers that aren't necessarily from Japan, because I'm pretty sure FK Digital is Taiwanese.
They're Taiwanese and they have a headquarters in Australia or something.
Yeah, so I really like to see other parts of the world again to be making fighting games. Almost like the age of everyone push out a fighting game regardless of how bad it is. But now,
Martial Masters,
some quality.
Deadly moves.
Hell yeah!
Look, you guys need to bring up Fight Fever in this conversation.
Oh,
Fight Fever.
Magic Dunker.
What about Fooling Psyche? You ever played that?
Which one?
You ever played Suiko Imbu, Fooling Psyche? It was on Sega Saturn.
No, I never had a Saturn when I was a kid.
Oh man, I remember when I was a kid, I used to always see the box for it, and I was just thinking man, this is some terrible box art. I'll never play this. And then it's a week ago, I looked that up, and saw that image. I was like, oh hey, I remember this. And so I looked it up on YouTube, and I was like, wow, this game actually was kind of fun for the time that it came out. Damn it! Now I can't find it. Oh well, misconnections.
Yeah.
He's just gonna go on Craigslist.
Go on Craigslist. Who has Fleeting Psyche?
Missed connections. Looking for someone to play Dark Awake with.
Dude, I'd do that, but then it would just be like blank years old Lancaster, and I'm like, oh, I know who this is.
Oh man,
I didn't know Zappelli lived in Lancaster.
Oh. I don't think he wants to play.
I don't know. He plays all that stuff, it seems
Yeah,
like.
Zep's on the poverty.
Yeah,
He's on that poverty bandwagon.
Zappelli's legit poverty. I love that guy. He's awesome. And he doesn't care if he loses when he plays. He just wants to play people.
That's true.
I mean,
Like, he wants to win, of course, but he wants to play people more so than anything else.
I mean, everybody.
I
wants
love
to
people
win.
like that.
It's those people who care too much about losing that are the kind of the problem, you know. Speaking of people who care a little bit too much about losing, I don't know if this is like a trend now, but apparently F-Champ just left Revolution Gaming.
Yeah, I think it is. It seems like a lot of the players are leaving RG.
I mean, I'd never heard anything bad about them, so that's kind of weird.
I don't know. It's so hard to tell, obviously, unless it's a really established sponsor for me. I honestly just assume everything that is not one of the big esports sponsors is not going to last. And I know that sounds really negative, but I mean, I don't need to invest my time into it. So I just don't even think about it.
I mean, is that bad, like, for players that may want to maybe break into like a sponsored style, like lifestyle or something? Like,
well, I think it depends. I think you have to know what you're getting, and there has to be more than just somebody telling you something over an email or a phone call. There has to be an actual contract that you're going to be getting something.
yeah.
If you don't expect to get something more than, a little bit more exposure, or they send you some products, well, then you can't be mad when that's all you get.
No, totally, yeah.
So I think it just depends on what you're looking for, honestly.
It must have just been like, some kind of situation where I guess, like somebody like Ryan probably, he knows how much he's worth. And in the case of Snake Eyes, who really, who pretty much built up his self-worth over the course of the last year, obviously I guess RG just wasn't willing to offer them what they felt like they deserved, which is, that's good business for whoever's, that's good business on the part of the clients.
Well, I think it's getting to a point where outside of EG, there aren't any big money fighting game sponsors, really.
No, there's not, yeah.
Other than, I guess, we got a couple people still signed to Razer?
Yeah. Like 2 or 3 players, I think, are still signed to Razer.
But then, conversely, you have all these Smash players who are in things like Curse and Cloud9. And so I think maybe you have fighting game players who are sort of wondering, why can't we get in on some of this? And when you have a bunch of people who aren't really offering anything in terms of compensation and monetary compensation, I think a lot of people are just like, nah, I'm cool. I'd rather just not be sponsored.
Right, yeah. Because it sounds like extra work, and you get nothing for it.
It can be.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're just trying to lobby for it. They're trying to lobby for that monetary compensation by taking themselves elsewhere.
Okay. Well, good for them. Somebody needs to do it.
Did you see NuckleDoo left EMP as well?
What? Yeah. Really?
Yay!
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that was...
He made some really, really ridiculous comment on Twitter. It was like, best of wishes to the CEO and 2 or 3 members that are left. And I was just like, okay.
Jeez. I mean, that's pretty much textbook of, like, a situation where you're definitely voting with your decisions, Like, for the longest time, I think people were just content to put up with the shit that was EMP.
I honestly just think, in general, it was the people were fine with putting little sponsored tags because they thought they were building to something else, something a little bit better. And as people are finding out that these aren't actually building blocks or stepping stones, it's more of a dead end. They're just kind of fed up with it. So they're like, I don't need any of this if it's not going to get me anything in the long run.
Right. Like, if you're just going to be going to tournaments and you may do well, but I guess for a sponsor, they kind of want to see you offer them something, other than just being like, yo, like, I'm part of this team and we've got, a bunch of secret killers, sponsors don't give a shit about that. They don't like, was killers? What the hell is that? Can you make us money? Is there going to be some kind of return on us investing in you? Or is this just, some kind of, fantasy that you're trying to live out?
Well, that's what the majority of sponsorships are these days. Like these smaller name sponsorships. It's just random teams picking up other players, and the sponsor in reality gets nothing in return.
Yeah. Like, I'll be honest, I give nothing back to Arcade Shock other than, like, cheap labor. And by cheap, I mean you can buy me a burger and I'll work for you.
But at least that's something, meanwhile. Right. You get out to events, they get people to work the booth. That's actually probably one of the better arrangements in terms of both sides getting something.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I think both parties benefit mutually. In fact, I benefit from, like, basically having my name attached to Arcade Shock, and they get the labor, and then I also get to meet more people through working at Arcade Shock, which is also good for me and anybody else that's underneath the Arcade Shock umbrella. Same thing goes for Broken Tier. A lot of the sponsored players you can find working a Broken Tier booth. So, I mean, I think that's kind of like the best way to go for the lower end sponsored people who just, like, they don't really want to sit in front of a camera with the t-shirt and hawk the wares all day, talk about Mountain Dew Baja Blast 24 hours a day.
Whoa. This isn't the show that sucks. We don't talk about Mountain Dew here.
I'll be honest, I wanted to try that shit yesterday, but I
don't do it. Don't do it, man. Don't do it.
That's gross.
I did.
But yeah, I think that's kind of where sponsorships are going. I think that for a lot of players, if it can't be the next level onto that actual monetary, to that salaried, even if it's for a short period of time, like whether it's like, say, like Evo season, you're contracted. If they can't even get that, I think a lot of players are just deciding they don't need anything.
Well, and most players don't even care for contracts. They just, like, it's still like with the old EMP syndrome. People just want those, like, 2 letters behind their name.
And it's still important to the people within the scene. Like, those letters still mean something, even if you're not getting paid.
Yeah, some people think it as like a status symbol. It's like, oh, this guy's sponsored. Wow, he must be someone.
Well, it's at least a team thing. Like, there's definitely a feeling of solidarity there that some people, whether they will admit it or not, kind of respect or at least acknowledge. Well,
I don't mind a team, but there's a difference between a team and a sponsor. And
yeah, that's what I was going to say.
People lost that somewhere in the last 6 years.
Mm-hmm. Everyone thinks they can get on, like, EG level sponsorship when they don't seem to understand how nearly impossible that is to get for the average player.
Yeah.
Like,
unless you're K-Brad.
Look how many good players we have in the scene. And look at how many of them are sponsored by, like, big name sponsors. It's like almost all of them are on EG. If you're on a big name sponsor, that's EG. If you're not on EG, then you're on something that's just small, low budget, mom and pop type deal.
You think Snake Eyes might go to EG?
No.
I don't know. I doubt it. I'll say I doubt it, but anything can happen, I guess.
Mad Cats could get back in the game, right? Yeah.
They could. I think they got out of the game because they saw that there was no return in it, though.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah. So...
because they were shipping several people out to events. I mean, plane tickets from Japan ain't cheap.
No, it's not.
And that's if they weren't actually paying these guys anything on top of that.
Yeah.
If they were, that's going to run up a bill.
And on top of that, they also sponsor teams. So teams would be like, we'll just say Mad Cat's Broken Tier. So it'll be MCZ, BT, Super FX, shit like that. And they would provide the team with sticks, replacement parts, pads, whatever the hell they needed to play. So that also costs money. Sending out product, shipping it out to them, and all that stuff.
Yeah, they were basically pushing a lot of money out when their brand recognition was so high that they weren't getting anything by doing that.
Yeah, there was no reason for them to do it. Like they literally got nothing out of it, in my opinion.
But they should have saw that coming, like pretty much a day after they started doing that, because there was never going to be any kind of return. Like,
well, I think initially they felt that there was still parts of the market that they could reach by having somebody like Daigo.
Okay, I'll agree with that.
But I do also agree that the amount of time that was important was maybe 6 months.
Yeah.
And then after that, they could have cut everybody loose and known that everybody who plays fighting games knows who we are. And they know... I mean, all you need to do is look on a stream. Pretty much everybody who is on a stream at this point in time is playing with a Comba or a Mad Cat stick. Comba 8 Arc or Mad Cats. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, that seems like they got the job done, but I don't know if that's what they were expecting to happen. Like, did they have some kind of plan where if everything worked out, they get to keep all of the players? And I'm like, if that was an option, like, what were they expecting to happen? Because I can't even fathom what this looks like as a money-making scheme, like, continuously making money, unless, like, you're just constantly producing, like, new products that people need to buy. Like, nobody needs to buy anything from Mad Catz anymore. They do.
No. Well, I don't know. I think well, obviously with the new systems, that's not true.
Well, yeah, with the new systems, and it's like, we start from scratch, more or less.
Well,
go for it, Gibby.
The one good thing Mad Catz is doing right now by sponsoring the Japanese player is they're still expanding in Japan. In Japan, Hori is still the dominant stick. You still see the majority of Japanese players using Hori sticks. So little by little, you see Mad Catz taking over here and there, which is good for the company, and that's most likely because all the events they do in Japan, the players they have in Japan, because Japanese players tend to stick with Japanese products, so that's why they go with Hori. Hori is still huge in Japan. It's not as big here in the States. Most people don't even know what Hori is, which is sad.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate.
You know what really bothered me about Hori is when they put out the first Marvel 3 sticks, I guess they were considered the H-Wraps of that generation. I thought those things were ugly and they looked like garbage. I think that really hurt. I think that really hurt them in the consumer's eyes because they just looked cheaper.
Yeah, compared to the original H-Wraps, yeah.
Yeah, the original H-Wrap, I mean, it's not made of that much sturdier stuff, honestly, but it looks more sturdy. So,
yeah,
I think that really hurt.
Eugh. Well, that whole the whole model they made off of that was just like, I never really liked those. I didn't like the feel of it, and the shape was just a little too.
And then you had the VLX, which is nice, but it's too nice. It's above your general player grade,
Yeah, totally.
Stick. The Fighting Edge is, I think, a little bit closer, but for my money, I feel like the touch panel on the side would go haywire before I would be done using that stick. Considering those sticks tend to get beat around a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's funny because Sako had a model at EVO without the touch panel.
Really?
So maybe they're going to be releasing one without the touch panel in the future?
That'd be interesting. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. They would have to.
So did he just have real buttons on the side, or how did it look?
Yeah, there was a picture of it. Oh, we had it at the arcade shop booth for a while.
Yeah, that's the one we had him sign, right?
No, that was a different one. This one we had on display for a bit. I'll find a picture of it and show it to you later.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
I mean, other than that, man, I think that the only reason Mad Catz did it is I think in some ways they were just trying to give a little bit back.
And that's cool.
Yeah.
And then they realized they were giving way too much back, and they're like, we're done here.
Yeah, it just kind of started hemorrhaging, I think, and then people just, they tighten up, and that's cool. And I guess what I want to see happen is, because with somebody like Revolution Gaming kind of just losing everybody, I'm kind of not discouraged, but I would hope that there would be new players that could come into the FGC scene and pick up, other players, basically. And if that ends up having to be established esports sponsors, that's probably the best outcome we could ask for. But I don't think they're interested yet. At least not enough to make a move. So, in the meantime, there's going to have to be somebody. They're going to have to be Revolution Gamings that pop up, just if not for a year, because there are people who are going to be looking for sponsorship that won't be getting them. And what are they supposed to do? They don't have to be sponsored. They don't have to go to every event, but that kind of sucks for, the competition.
Yeah. Well, and it's hard for me to say that I honestly think that the only sponsors that would be coming into the fighting game community, bringing actual monetary compensation for players, would be established esports sponsors, because those sponsors have already locked up a lot of the other ancillary sponsors that generate money. Like, if you look at EG, who are they tied in with? They're tied in with Monster, they're tied in with Razer, and that's where a lot of their money that goes to players comes from, is those tie-in agreements. And I feel like a lot of the esports sponsors already have those companies tied up. So I think it would be very hard for something homegrown in fighting games to actually pick up extra sponsors like that to then funnel that money to their players.
Yeah, and I think that's where you start, you run into an issue where there are different kinds of sponsorship. That it's not necessarily something that's been discussed in the scene, at least. I feel like a lot of people just kind of feel like, especially when people first started getting sponsored, that every sponsorship was awesome, Like, you can say you're sponsored and you're like, oh, that's sick, congratulations. But it's different. It's not all the same. And I think that needs to be something that is, there's varying levels. That needs to be something that becomes very ingrained within the scene. And people need to either decide whether or not they're okay with that, because if you're swinging for the fences on the first try, you might not end up with anything when it comes to just putting yourself out there like that. And I don't think most people didn't go straight to EG anyway. A lot of people had to eat shit for a while. So the only new sponsor, well, obviously RG was fairly new, and obviously people are jumping ship. Steamco is picking up players.
Yeah.
But I don't know what their agreements are like at all.
Probably free baby.
So,
I mean, they sound pretty laid back. Like, they were pretty, at least with Sanford, they were very, friendly and open about what was happening. Maybe a little too open, because there was
Steamco is partially run by fighting game players.
Right.
So they obviously understand the culture, and they obviously understand how fighting gamers operate. I just have no insight into what they're doing in terms of contracts.
You know what? Eat24 should sponsor players rather than events, and then have a special site called, Deep24, where you could send a top player to your house to play with them for an hour.
But do they bring
have top players on call?
Yeah, and they bring you get €1, and then you also get to play with them for an hour.
That'd be kind of sick. Except, I don't think they'd feel too comfortable sending people to strangers' houses.
It doesn't matter. It's the novelty people want.
The security detail alone would be way too much money. Nobody's just going to send, random nerd to, other nerds' house for games.
What are you talking about? People in the fighting game community randomly go into other people's houses they've never met before all the time, sometimes in bad areas.
No, I know they do, but sometimes you will attest to this, sometimes those people show up and you're just like, oh, fuck. This guy's in here.
That's normally when people I don't know show up at my house and then just proceed to play and then act like they have no idea except the people that they already knew.
Exactly, right?
Wait. That's your house? You mean you're just not squatting here?
I know, right? It's crazy. Boy.
But it's shit like that, if you ran something like that, you would just definitely run into I didn't call you over here for games. I just wanted to talk,
Aw, damn, we're just gonna have a sit down?
Exactly, right? It'd be crazy shit like that. And then meanwhile, Justin Wong is like, you gonna eat your gyro, Why don't you have your churros, man?
Just invited Justin over. It's like, what is your opinion on the current state of affairs with our oil crisis?
I'm just here.
I don't know, dude. I just want to play Street Fighter.
I'm just here to deliver your pizza, man. Come on.
It's like oil. You mean like Hakan? Like
the crisis where if he doesn't have oil, he needs to oil up. I don't know.
Shit's rough, man.
Take a shower. Oh my god. But that would be kind. I do think somebody like E24 needs to like maybe dip in a little bit. But of course, actually no, they don't need to do it. But it would be nice.
I think it'd be cool, but I honestly love what they do already so far. So I just wish they'd maybe, I don't know, sponsor a couple more events or something. It's just I love seeing their commercials.
I kind of want to. I want them to do the same thing too, but I also don't want them to have a ruined perception of us by sponsoring like an event where some dumb shit happens, as it tends to sometimes.
Yeah.
Like that's too good of a sponsor to fuck up.
Well, I think honestly there needs to be all kinds. There needs to be people who will sponsor events and then sponsors who sponsor players, because the people who sponsor events bring in money for the event. Mm-hmm. That's where sometimes like pop bonuses come from, and I think that needs to be part of the equation always if we're moving toward people actually trying to live off fighting games.
Yeah, totally. Like that's when the pop bonuses start getting bigger, and I think that's really what if you can't get sponsored, that's pretty much your only recourse anyway. You should be going for the gold. If you're looking for money for losing, which is kind of what sponsorship is, that gets paid for that shit. When you get paid for that shit, it's like, yeah, that's great. I'd love to get paid just to show up to a tournament and wear a T-shirt. But,
well, I mean, isn't that what every professional sport is?
More or less.
Yeah, so I mean, that's not really. I mean, I guess you can say that's being paid to lose in certain situations.
Oh yeah, there are definitely people in professional sports that are paid to lose, and not very under the table, like wink, wink.
I'm not really sure what you meant by that.
Could you
really?
wink
I'm
one more
winking
time?
at you.
Yeah, I'm gonna need at least another wink, maybe a backwards handshake.
A really sly head nod.
Yeah, that would be good.
Perhaps
maybe you can do the thing where you point to your eyes and then you point to my eyes.
I'm doing that right now. You can't see me, but I'm doing it.
Okay. Good.
There definitely needs to be some sort of like nutritional like sponsorship, Like everyone's got like this Monster and stuff like that. Like where's like the like Mills like cereal or like Wheaties where like you sponsor it and be like, hey, eat this cereal. It helps get me going at the start to prepare my mind for a big match.
Well, we need somebody with a larger-than-life persona to sell that to people. Because if you just get some bum to say, eat your vegetables, children, they're going to be like, fuck you.
Yeah, man. I don't want to see Aquafina sponsor Gibby as he just rambles about the SNK scene.
No, man. I will promote the shit out of Aquafina, right?
Obviously, Gibby is going to be sponsored by Pepperidge Farm.
Oh, my God.
As much
they can
like
all
Pepperidge
reminisce
Farm,
about.
Gibby remembers.
Yeah, they reminisce about the old days.
Remember when you can make fireballs unblockable by doing a command throw when they're about to hit? Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Remember when you had to grit your teeth because you threw someone in the arcade?
I'm just imagining Gibby sitting at a booth like slicing salami really slowly, just like rattling off old stories about the SNK scene.
I can do this. Yo, Petridge Farms, come at me. Come on, we're doing this. Let's do this.
That's right. New campaign. Get Gibby sponsored by Pepperidge Farms.
Remember when K-Force bitched out of everything ever?
Oh my god. Nobody remembers that other than the selection.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's only a Southern California thing.
Oh, man.
So, any other interesting news we got?
I feel like we had something else, but I can't,
Strong Style is capped at 160 entrants.
Really?
Oh, shit, I need to still register, damn it.
Bronson said there's still about 100 slots remaining, and registration closes September 5th.
You want to know what the greatest thing about that is?
It's in America.
No spectator fee. No spectator fee. No spectator fee.
You good?
I get to show up and not have to pay a spectator fee.
That's good.
Yeah.
You probably didn't have to anyway, man.
Yeah.
You're IPW. You don't have to do that anyway. We're working
Well,
the event.
I am IPW to but I like to be the kind of guy who does things legitimately, and if I can't, then I'll just do things illegitimately. But whatever.
So, quick question: this cap, is that for competitors?
I'm assuming competitors. he says just 160 register slots are open, and it's capped there. Boom, done. Didn't get into too many particulars with it.
You think they'll reach that?
What's that?
You think they'll reach that?
Yeah, I think they will.
Yeah, I do too.
It's a dedicated Tekken event. The Tekken community, when they want, they go out to their things. The Tekken community, I really like the Tekken community. Like I really do. Well, I specifically like the old people in the Tekken community. I should put that. Every single one of them I've hung out with, all the parties I've been to with all of them, yeah, it's great. They hold their own rooms. They rent out suites just to do nothing but Tekken.
That's
And they have
That
a
was pretty
schedule.
fun.
Yeah.
For those who were at EVO, if you didn't go into the Tekken suite at EVO, it was a lot of fun.
Oh, and apparently they do this at damn near every major.
They're starting
Yeah.
to now, yeah.
The Tekken Casino or whatever they call it.
Yeah, because Harada was in there, and Michael Murray, and they just came by to kind of hang out, shoot the shit for a while.
Speaking of which, Harada definitely said Dota 2 is a good game. So there
This is true.
Wow,
you go, folks.
missed that one.
He also said some unsavory things about a producer of another fighting game series that Capcom makes.
Interesting.
I'm pretty sure it was all tongue-in-cheek, but it was still hilarious listening to him say these things.
But the interesting thing about Tekken is this last weekend there was an exhibition in the Philippines, a 3v3 of Japan versus the best in the Philippines. So that was the three Filipinos playing were AK, Maru, and I believe it's Dojin. And then the Japanese team was Nobi, Jackler, and Gen Kids, excuse me. And that's up on Pinoy Versus on YouTube. And it's actually a really good, it's an hour set, and that's some high-level Tekken right there.
I bet. I mean, from the stuff that I had seen, the very few, like they're good players over there.
Yeah. So, Philippines is actually really strong in Tekken. I think a lot of people were sleeping on them until AK showed up on the scene, being like, 10 years old or something. I think he's like 13. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think he's 13 now.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of players are coming out of the Philippines that are actually underage, but they're really good. Like I know there was a Marvel player that that was supposed to come out of that area. I don't know the name, no.
That's
cool.
good.
New regions.
But,
Hopefully,
yeah, Strong Style is going to be really fun, and you have to be there to watch it unless you want to wait. But if you wait, the product you're going to get is also going to be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So you could do both. You can show up and watch it later.
What they're planning to do.
I'm actually really interested to see what they do with all the aftermatch interviews and extra content they throw on to Strong Style matches once they're done. The fact that all the matches are being recorded, basically so that they can then pick and choose which ones they really want to highlight or showcase in the finished product, is really exciting in a way, because there's always those matches that you hear about after the fact. You're like, dude, this guy beat this guy. Oh, was it stream? Nah, man, it happened off stream. That's not a question anymore.
That was definitely happening a lot at EVO, man. But
obviously, Arturo's been trying to be that guy on the side who always catches those matches you want. But
he's only one man.
Yeah, he's only one person. So all of Strong Style is going to be recorded.
And
so if there's a big upset that nobody expected, it's still going to be recorded. That's awesome.
And I also feel like, I feel like we were heading in that direction a long time ago, but we kind of veered off. Like the post-match interviewing and like basically treating it like a real event with people that had important opinions about what was happening. Like, I really liked that sort of feeling when we first started, like, putting our foot into broadcasting this shit. So the fact that they're kind of trying to bring that back with a way that's a lot more easier on the editors is great, I would like to, if it ends up working out, I would love to do more events like that. I mean, people are still going to, complain about how there's no stream because, I think people are just kind of used to it being streamed. Nobody really knows why there shouldn't be a stream or should be a stream, but they're just used to it being there. So, but I think that this way is definitely, valid for its own reasons.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I feel like it's a double-edged sword. Obviously, we're so used to the nowness of streaming that people are like, once the stream is over, I know a lot of times people will be like, did you watch the archives? The other people will be like, no, because it already happened. I already know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like giving that value added of extra interviews, talking to the players about what they were thinking or decisions they made, or even just having people who weren't obviously doing any kind of live commentary go back and talk about it after the fact is nice too, because there always adds a different layer once you're outside the match.
Yeah.
Even for commentators. Because even when you're commentating a match, you may be outside, but you're still in that moment. Being able to look at a match from outside the whole match, not just round to round, gives you a different perspective maybe on what a player was thinking going into the first round and what he was holding going into that last round.
Right.
So I think that's always good to have another set of eyes on something.
Oh, totally. And, I mean, I guess I have one more piece of news here. It was just announced that apparently at West Coast Warzone 4, there will be a exhibition between Nemo and F-Champ. And I don't know if they've done that already. I feel like that's already happened.
Played.
Yeah.
Haven't they done this a couple times already?
Yeah.
It's the rerun back.
Can you do that twice?
I don't know.
I guess
You just sound really scared when you
someone
said
says
it.
no.
I'm frightened.
Because I know, obviously, Nemo ran over Champ and Fnatic at Capcom Cup.
Yeah.
And I think they might have played again since then, but I don't remember the results of that.
Since Capcom Cup, I don't know. I know they were supposed to play Northwest Majors, but I don't remember them actually playing each other.
Yeah, that's where it was supposed to happen at the Northwest
So
Majors.
I don't think they played each other since Capcom Cup.
Okay. So it's finally happening, basically. In exhibition format.
Mhm.
I mean, that should be kind of cool. I'm still kind of thinking about going, you know. If I have until tomorrow to decide if I'm going to West Coast Warzone to play KOF and maybe a Uni-L side tournament. If there is, has anybody said anything about that?
I'm sure
that nobody has said anything about it because, as per usual with every tournament run by Capcom-centric players.
Yeah. ...
You know there'll be a Uni-L tournament, I'm positive. Even if people are running it in their hotel rooms.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that it will actually be added because obviously West Coast Warzone is a level up tournament now, from what I've heard.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that Vi is very aware of the support that Uni-L is getting, so I'm sure it'll be added.
Yeah, I figured he'd jump on that. He jumped on Skullgirls. This should be a no-brainer.
And speaking of level up and Via, if you guys do want to see Under Night and Birth in the run back or Wednesday night fights, let Alex Via know. Just tweet at him and at Level Up. He's debating on whether or not it should be part of the lineup or part of the Saturday lineup. And
I mean, it'll be part of Rebel Up anyway.
Yeah, it's going to be part of Rebel Up for sure. But the game deserves a chance in the run back.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't think, for whatever reason, it feels like a lot of Air Dash players can't come out as much during the weekdays, or at least choose not to, or whatever reason. Because everything else on Thursdays has sort of fallen flat in general, from BlazBlue to Guilty Gear. But they always tend to do well on the weekends. So I still think Uni-L deserves a shot at a spot in the run back, but I don't think it's going to last, even if it makes it.
Yeah. Well, the run back is kind of not really lasting itself, honestly.
It's been doing fine, honestly. I mean, there were a couple weeks where Marvel participation was a little down, but those were also a couple weeks when Street Fighter 4 was getting 100 people. So
that's right, yeah. So people were...
I think people were just making a choice at, for whatever reason. Ultra had just come out, so they were like, well, I can only go normally once a week, and I'll try this new Street Fighter 4 out.
Well, I hope that things kind of pick up again because the new Super Arcade, what's it coming back in how long? How soon?
Well, yeah, that's another announcement. Is that
2 weeks?
2 weeks.
So it was initially supposed to open up this Friday, but there were some complications with some of the dealers or people who were supposed to bring stuff in, and it's been pushed back 2 weeks, which is better, so they can get more work done, and that way it's not like one of those half-ass openings.
Right.
And I'm sure that's what Mondo and Watts want. Jeez, I'm sorry.
So
That's
sucks. I was really looking forward to the reopening sooner, but at least it's going to be finished when they're done. And hopefully, like Watson said, he'll be able to put a little bit more polish than just trying to rush it out.
I can't wait to take a dump in there.
You gonna be first?
He said, Watts said, I can officially christen the bathroom. So bam.
You have to wait for you?
Yep.
Nobody can go before Gibby.
Nope.
When is Warzone?
September 5th to the 7th.
Yeah, that would make it the next major then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least, there's nothing else in between now and then.
Because it's gonna go Warzone, Fall Classic. Is September or October? October?
Fall Classic, I think, is October, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah,
So then
Fall Classic took that Marvel tournament spot.
Oh yeah, Seasons Beatings.
Season
Good call.
Beatings, yeah.
So it's gonna go Warzone, Strong Style, Fall Classic. I don't know what until NEC in December. Oh,
And
Summer
we don't
Jam?
know-
Summer Jam is this month?
Jam, yeah, Summer Jam's this month, yeah. Forgot.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
shit.
Well, then Summer Jam is the next big one.
There's also that Canada Cup thing that's going on. I don't know too much about the details, but it's going to be one of the first Twitch events where you have to pay to watch. Like, actually pay to watch, not those...
Yeah, I've heard some rumors that it's going to be invite only, too.
Yeah, they announced a lot of it. I guess, so it's 16 people. Eight of the participants are top 2 placers from the past Canada Cup events, and the last 8 spots are going to be play-in spots.
So,
But I don't know enough about it to talk about it. I was hoping one of you guys may have known something.
I don't pay attention to Street Fighter 4 for the most part.
Also, you don't want to forget that Shadowloo Showdown is on the 28th.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They haven't done as much promoting this year, interestingly enough.
I think they've been kind of doing this this grassroots thing where they just kind of say, hey, support the tournament scene out here, and they've been doing some really awesome designs for shirts. So if you want to get a cool fighting game related shirt, go to Shadowloo Showdown and get hooked up. But yeah, I mean, other than that, there hasn't really been that big of a fanfare for it.
Then again, I feel like they probably blew a ton of money flying players out the first couple of years.
Yeah, I always wondered how they got around to doing that. It always felt like,
I feel like they probably just raised money and did it.
Yeah.
And that's a lot. That's rough.
That is rough, because you're basically raising money for this guy to come over here and take your money.
Possibly.
Yeah.
That's another one of those putting in and getting nothing back, really.
Yeah. This is what this looks like without sponsorships.
Yeah. So
that's cool. But I think, we've finally announced everything.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And hey, look at that. It's 7:55.
I know, we made it! Damn it! I was like, dude, we're not ending before 7:30 tonight. I can't get off before 8.
Wow. Hell Pocket's just trying to string it out.
I just if I end at 7:30 or at 7:30, that means I have more time spent changing diapers. Come on, just give me this extra half an hour, please, God.
But last thing is this coming Sunday. I think I mentioned it briefly already. This coming Sunday, the Brett is hosting another online UNIL tournament. This time it's going to be singles. So if you're looking to at least get some extra character knowledge and matchup knowledge, check it out. I believe he will be streaming it on, I don't remember what his channel is off the top of my head. It's Unlimited Brett Works, but I don't.
It's the Brett, I think.
Is it just the Brett on
Brett,
Twitch?
Yeah, it's just the Brett. Yeah.
Okay. And they, of course, will be doing commentary on it, stuff like that. So,
I'm going to see if I can sneak in my own commentary for that. Yeah.
go for it.
Yeah, this is just the Brett, all one word.
Yeah.
Okay.
I should join you.
Yeah, you should join me, man.
Yeah, that'd be neat.
Can I commentate your commentary?
Actually, you could. That's what's crazy about this.
Sanchez and I are going to be Statler and Wardorf in the corner.
That's what we are.
And then we'll have another side stream where we commentate, and then we commentate on your commentary or our commentary, so that it goes.
All right, commentary-ception is done now.
I want to see where
everything has to be Inception. You know, it was an idea that was popularized by Paprika.
You know,
so.
why does it have to be Inception?
Rest in peace, Satoshi Kon.
Why couldn't it be like commentary stacking dolls?
I mean, it can be.
What do you mean, like those? Like you mean like those Russian dolls?
Yeah, the ones you put inside of each other.
Yeah,
those are dope.
Much like other anime, I own Paprika, but have never watched it.
What? You haven't watched Paprika?
No.
What? You own anime?
Yeah.
Dude, I saw that in theaters.
Nerd.
Damn, yeah.
Anyway.
Why would you say that out loud?
Dude, it was in Irvine. There was like 2 other people besides me. Yeah, in the theater. Like, I mean, I think I saw it with 2 friends, and there were like 2 other jack-offs in the back that just, I don't know.
Might have been literally jacking off.
They might have been. They were way in the back. I mean, the music.
If I thought they were being funny when they brought garlic to the Paprika showing.
Anyway.
Bad jokes.
I think we've officially run out of anything interesting to say. So
I could go on about. I go on about the video game industry some more. I got infinite.
You
worth
can,
of
but you know, I hear that you can have your own channel for your rants.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, man. Just play some classy music in the background.
What?
He can just like play some classy music in the background, pour himself a
just
glass
listen
of
like
cognac.
Kenny G.
Yeah, man.
Walkman just ranting over some sweet saxophone solos.
Yeah, dude, that'd be the shit.
Yes.
All right, guys. I think we're done here.
Yeah, let's just
So
wrap it
that
up.
about wraps it up for this week.
Wait.
What?
Before we go,
What you got?
I just want everyone to go tweet at Petridge Farms. Okay. Tell them about me. Tell them about the fighting game scene. Let them know I am there. Also, Old Spice can work too. I've worked for them before.
Actually, Old Spice is yeah.
So yeah, either of them. Go, do it. Tweet at them.
Okay. So that wraps it up for this week. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. So from Super Desperation Radio, good night and good luck.